Publishing one book is a really big deal. Congratulations if you've done that. If you haven't, hang tight. I've published 600 books on Amazon KDP. It required some strategy and some systems and huge mistakes along the way, and that's what I'm sharing in this video. I'm going to break down how I published 600 books on Amazon KDP, the key lessons that I've learned to help you, and what you need to know if you're thinking of scaling a book income stream machine on Amazon. My name is Jenny Hansen-Lane, and I've been publishing for 3 years as of January of 2022. I just crossed the 600th book mark, publishing all different types of books. I've created $120,000 in book income. This is royalties, and I've scaled my ads account to multiple six figures. As you know, when you scale ads, you don't get all of the sales, you get royalties only. So let's dive into this video. The most important thing that I want to talk about is there's 5 steps we're going to cover. Step number 1 is that you have to think small when you're scaling a book income stream. My first books were low content. You can see here, right? They were low content. They had repeated pages inside of them. I did this so I could get used to what it took to be a good self-publisher, okay? The second thing that I did is I realized if I was going to publish notebooks and journals, I needed a system to do that. So I used Canva, free and pro subscription, to have a template. When I started publishing, there was no limit to how many books you could put on Amazon KDP in a day. Now there's a 3-book limit, and I am not the one who made that rule. I might have. I published 200 books in 30 days because I wanted to figure it out. I knew if I put in the reps, I would figure it out, okay? And so part of that process was having templates inside of my Canva account that I could go back to create more books. And so we're talking about composition notebooks, we're talking about prompted journals, we're talking about line journals, and that's just where I started, okay? So once I built a repeatable workflow, I could format fast and I could upload fast. And that's what I kept doing, okay? So along that way with those 200 books in 30 days, I realized they couldn't just be random books. That brings us to number 2, riches in the niches. Riches in the niches. Every country, every pronunciation is different, but it rhymes niche, rich. And so a niche is a subcategory of people that are looking for something. A niche is a category or something deeper than just books, right? Like what type of books? It wasn't just a prompted journal. It was a Bible prompted journal, okay? The Bible would be the niche. I focused on underserved audiences that had a demand in there. How did I know that it had a demand? Well, I simply typed my idea into Amazon's search bar, and if something came up, that gave me the clarity that this was in demand and this was something that I could focus on, okay? So I always tell this story, like my next door neighbor, well, for a long time I used to say, don't put a diet turtle book on Amazon. And then our next door neighbor was like, can your boys watch our turtle for us while we go out of town? This is how much you need to feed them. And I was like, we need a diet turtle book. When you type in diet turtle book in Amazon, there's nothing that comes up because it's not in demand. There's not enough people that have a turtle that are going out of town. So just because an idea worked for me doesn't mean it's going to work for the 90 million buyers on Amazon. And that's why we're publishing on Amazon, right? That's why I have 600 books on Amazon, because I'm tapping into the buyer's market that it exists there, okay? So the biggest tool that I use, and I'll put a coupon code for you, it is an affiliate link, so I get a kickback. It helps me make these videos for you, but it is BookBeam. BookBeam allowed me to find underserved customers with clear demand, okay? So I would type my ideas in a BookBeam and it would tell me how many times a word was being searched. Now, on top of that, the third thing that I did, we're on step 3 out of 5, is that I did not redo interiors, book templates. If it was working, I reused proven layouts over and over and over again in these different niches. Does that make sense? Like a book's a book's a book's a book's a book. That's what's so cool about this. The power of repurposing, right? I can't put this YouTube video in very many places. One, because I just called it a YouTube video. And two, it's only us that loves long format and hanging out, right? We're here because we're friends. This probably would not work in the same way on Pinterest, but on Amazon, you can absolutely reuse your interiors over different niches, and that makes it so powerful. Okay, now I have a background in art, so I didn't necessarily need to hire out anything, but step 3 is where you would think about hiring out cover design if that was something you kind of struggled with. Okay, so once I had those 200 books on Amazon, I know that I could go all in by uploading multiple times. Okay, so batch uploading was the first thing that I did. And what I did for this is I opened multiple windows. Now this is before you had to click the button for paperback. That's how old I am in KDP world. So now you can only upload 3 books at a time. So the important thing here is to focus on quality, and number 2, those niches are everything. You don't need hundreds of books like I have, okay? Because here is the most important step about step number 5, the lessons that I've learned. Not every book sells, okay? Typically 80% of your income comes from 20% of your sales of your books. Dyslexia strikes again. 80% of the money that you get will come from 20% of your books, but you can get this 20% up. I got mine up to 38% because I focused on niches, right? Riches and the niches. When a book sells, you go all in and you publish multiple types of books for those customers. All marketing shows people typically want more of what they already have. Okay, so I used my background in digital marketing to just put my books on fire legally. I'm not burning books, but you get the idea, right? So quality still matters when you play the volume game, because if you publish junk, nobody will buy it and your account will get shut down for misleading content or disappointing content. And when you're scaling, you really can't take these type of shortcuts because you want to have the money hit your bank account, right? So 600 books taught me that volume can build income, but it is value that builds a brand. Let me repeat that. Volume, putting in the reps, it will get you somewhere. If you don't quit, you can't lose, right? Volume builds the income, okay? But it is the value that builds a brand. If you haven't published a book yet, just say NEWB in the comments, NEWB, and I'll drop a link where I can walk you through my little process. In addition to that, if you want to go faster and you want to learn, I have a free training coming up, and I would love to have you there. We talk about how I sold over $211,000 with a $47 budget on Amazon book ads. I show you the 3 steps that you need to remember to get started with publishing to be able to have more time freedom. So if any of this video helped you, drop that in the comments so I know, and let me know how I can serve you more. You don't have to do it alone, and I don't want you to do it alone. So I love you guys, or I love you, and here is another video that YouTube is suggesting, and I'll see you in the next one.